All right, guys, 2, 3 is linear functions. And like I said, you have seen this stuff. So I'm going to move fairly quickly. But if I get too far ahead of you, just raise your hand and I'll know that you mean we got to slow down a little, okay? Haven't even started yet. Can't slow down from that. Okay, so first thing is slope, okay? Your slope is your vertical change over your horizontal change. Do you remember the short little words that we often use for that? Your what over your what? 2 words. Rise over run. Okay, so your rise over run is going to be your slope. Does anyone remember slope formula?
Y equals mx.
That's slope-intercept form. Slope formula is this one. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? So that's what you're going to use to find the slope of a given line. Just keep in mind when you're doing this that you are going left to right. So like if I have something like this, say that's my line, and I want to find the slope of that line, if we start at this point and we go to this point, for instance, your rise goes first, your run goes second. So I rose 2, I ran 3, so my slope is 2 over 3. Okay, rise first, run second, and just make sure you always go left to right. If I were to start at this point and go to the left, it's going to look like my slope is negative, and it's not. So go left to right, okay, and then you'll get the right slope. So tell me this. If I give you -3, 7 and -2, 4, and I say, find the slope. Okay. What you want to make sure of is that you have the right X's and Y's in the right places. So if I were you, I would do this. I would write the points down, call this X1, Y1, call this X2, Y2, so that you can just plug it into the formula and you really don't have to think about it. You don't have to do that for me. But I see a lot of people try to put these 2 numbers together and then put these 2 numbers together, and then you get the wrong slope. So just be careful that your X's are X's and your Y's are Y's. So if I'm doing Y2 minus Y1, that's 4 minus 7. And then X2 minus X1 is -2 minus -3. So that's plus a positive. 4 minus 7 is -3. -2 plus 3 is 1. So my slope would be -3. Okay? What if I have these numbers? Okay, if we're going to plug that into the slope formula, and this is my x1, y1, and my x2, y2, what's on top? 1 minus 1. Notice what that's doing. Oops, I thought too far ahead. 1 minus 1. You have a 0 on top, okay? On bottom, -4 minus 3. So I get 0 divided by -7. Can you do 0 divided by -7? Yes, you can. You can do 0 divided by any number. It's going to be 0, okay? Whereas, what if I had these numbers? 7, -3, and 7, 1, okay? Now, if this is x1, y1, and x2, y2, if I go y2 minus y1, so 1 minus a -3, so that would be 4, and then 7 minus 7. Now I have 4 divided by 0. Can I do a number divided by 0? That one you cannot, okay? You cannot divide by 0, so we would say this is undefined. Okay? if you're not sure which one is okay and which one's not, plug it into your calculator. If you plug in 4 divided by 0 in your calculator, it's going to say like syntax error, or it's going to tell you some sort of error message because you can't do it, okay? Okay, so let's just real quick talk slopes for a second. I'm going to give you 4 coordinate planes with 4 different slopes on them. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Can you tell me anything about these slopes?
First one's positive, second one's negative.
Good job, Sam.
That's true. This one's positive. Okay, so if it's on its way up, left to right, it's positive. If it's on its way down from left to right, it's negative. What are the next two?
It only has
Third one
an
is
X.
undefined. There's no slope.
The-
It's infinite solutions.
No.
It's
No,
X.
the last one's infinite solutions.
Is it X or is it
That's
plus?
what I
Which one's which?
The first one's undefined. The last one's undefined.
The last one is undefined. Vertical is an undefined slope, right? Think about it as if you have points here. This is, let's say this is the point 2, 0, and this is the point 2, 1. Right? If you plugged that into slope formula, you're dividing by 0, which you can't do, okay? Whereas if you did this, call that point 0, 4, and this point 1, 4. If you plug that into slope formula, you're going to get 0, okay? So this has a slope of 0. That has a slope of undefined. Here is how I've always told people. Horizontal lines have a 0 in them, whereas vertical lines, a V and a U, are very similar. Vertical is undefined, horizontal is 0, okay? Questions thus far? Okay. So when we have a function, an f of x equals whatever, where the graph is a line, a straight line, we call it a linear function, okay? So we're going to be talking a lot about linear functions right now, which makes sense. Linear function, you see the word line right in it, right? Linear function is a line, okay? So what we're going to do with this, we're going to start with slope-intercept form. And I think most of you could probably tell me what slope-intercept form looks like right now.
Right, where's the next one?
That's the one. So in slope-intercept form, you have a slope and you have a y-intercept, right? So it's this setup, y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Okay, do y'all know what a y-intercept is? If I give you a line like this, not like that, I take it back. Let's do a line like this. My y-intercept is where I hit the y-axis, right? That would be my y-intercept, that point. Okay? Different than an x-intercept, right? And we're going to get into x-intercepts a little bit later. My x-intercept would be this one. You don't want that one, okay? You want the y-intercept. You want where it hits the vertical axis for slope-intercept form. Okay, so we are going to do a little bit of writing equations in slope-intercept form. This is example 2. And we are going to write the equation. I'm going to do EQ for equation of the line in slope-intercept. I'm shorthanding that too, okay? SI is going to be slope-intercept form. And I'm going to give you a couple different ways to see it. So the equation of line in slope-intercept form, if we have this, let's say M is 1/5, and our y-intercept is the point 0, -3. Okay, From here on out, if you tell me the y-intercept is -3 for this, that's fine. I know because it's the y-intercept that the first point will, the x value will be 0. Okay, so you can just tell me my y-intercept is -3. If it helps you to write it this way, then by all means write it as a point, 0, -3. Okay, so if I want to put this in slope-intercept form, what's my equation going to be? Y equals
Y equals 1/5 x plus minus 3.
1/5 x, and then it's a -3, so we'll just say -3. Okay, so that would be our slope-intercept form. Okay, what if, by the way, you are going to be doing some graphing stuff. There are over 200 sheets of graph paper up there. If you want one, great. If you want to just take a picture of one and do it on your iPad, that's fine too. Up to you. Okay, so let's say I give you this picture. Hold on while I pull up my picture. Let's go. Okay, sorry, we're back on track. So if I give you this, okay, so you have this point. Hey, we're doing math here. Yes, we are.
That's like just making sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say I give you this, and I ask for an equation in slope-intercept form, okay? My slope, I can find just by counting from a point left to right, okay? So if I start here, my slope would be my rise, which is actually going to be down. So 1, 2, 3, and then my run, 1, so that's -3/1. So my slope is -3. Okay, if you put -3/1, I get it, but simplify it. -3/1 is -3, okay? Probably. What's my y-intercept? That is 4. That's this point right here. We're at 4. So if I want the equation in slope-intercept, this is it.
Oh my gosh.
What? They're quick. Okay, questions? All right.
He's like, boy, cruising. What is this? Bro, what did he's done it in like 3 weeks what I've wanted to do for the past 4 years.
Drive a golf cart around? Okay, come back to me. Huh. Okay, real quick. So the question is this, where did I get the 4 from? Here's what you're doing. On the y-axis, right, you're looking for your y-intercept. Diego. Your y-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has nothing to do with the other point. It's where did it fall on the y-axis. So from 0 here, we went 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to that. So that's your 4. Okay? Okay, example 3. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. And then I want to know what's the slope, what's the y-intercept. So here is our first one. Okay? Hey. Shh. Yeah, I do. You don't get it right now. We're doing a lesson right now. So in slope-intercept form, you are solving for what variable, essentially? Y. We want it to be y equals mx plus b. So to put this into slope-intercept, what's the first thing you have to do to get y isolated?
I gotta get 5 extra of those tries.
You got to get 5x out of there. So take away 5x and take away 5x. Now this, you cannot simplify. So you have right now negative 4y equals, and then mx plus b would be the x's first, so negative 5x, and then it's a positive 16, so plus 16, okay? Then what do?
Divide by.
Then divide by negative 4. So divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. You have to do it on every one of them, okay? This is 1, so we're left with y. Negative 5 over negative 4 is just a positive 5 over 4x. And then 16 divided by negative 4 is a negative 4. So in slope-intercept form, it would look like that. What is your slope? 5 over 4. What is your y-intercept? Negative 4, okay? Whatever sign is in front of that number, if it's plus, it's a positive 4. If it's minus, that means it's a negative 4. Okay? Let's try another one. Same type of idea. If I have negative 3/4 x plus 1/2 y equals negative 1, okay? To put that into slope-intercept, same thing. We're trying to get y by itself. So we're going to add 3/4 x to both sides. Okay, so this is gone. I have 1/2 y equals 3/4 x minus 1. Okay, now we're trying to isolate our y here. Okay, how can I get that 1/2 out of there? Multiply by 2. Okay, you can divide by 1/2, but dividing by 1/2 with this setup is going to get really ugly. You're not going to like it, I promise. So instead, if you just multiply by 2, but then be careful because you got to multiply that whole side by 2. Okay, so this is gone. We're left with y equals 2 times 3/4. Anyone tell me that? 6/4, which is 3/2, right? So this is going to be 3 over 2 times x minus what? Minus 2. Don't forget to distribute that. So that would be your equation. So your slope is 3 over 2. What's your y-intercept? Negative 2. Okay? Questions on that? Okay. Last thing of this lesson is just some graphing. So again, if you want to go grab some graph paper, grab some graph paper. That's fine.
Go grab it now. Or is that
Sure, yeah, no, go. All right. What are you doing? Now it might be rude.
I got like a stack, I'm sorry.
Okay, so y equals x minus 4. If I'm going to graph that, what do I plot first? The negative 4, right? That's your y-intercept. You always plot your y-intercept first, okay? So negative 4, check in. You with me? Yeah? You're going down 4, okay? So negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be your point there. Okay, what's your slope? 1, right? Your slope is 1. So there's this like 1 over 1 right there. You need to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. I don't need 4 points. I'm just showing you what the process is. So your graph looks like that. Okay? How about this one? If I give you four x plus 7y equals 14, okay? We don't have the standard form down yet, so you need to convert it into slope-intercept form, which means you're going to subtract 4x from both sides. So it's 7y equals negative 4x plus 14. Remember, you can't combine those because one's got an x and one doesn't. Then you divide by 7. So you have y equals negative 4/7 x plus 2. What do you plot first? The 2, right? You always start with your y-intercept, which is right here, up 2 from 0, 0. Okay, then where do I go? Up or down?
You go down 4 to the right side.
Down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't need these little humps, by the way. I'm just showing you how I'm getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Puts me right here. Take a straight edge, draw a line in. Okay? Yeah.
Who cares the line is straight? Or can it be?
I mean, the like
I'm not
super
gonna do, like,
picky part of me cares, yes. If you make it straight enough, I'm not going to mark off if it's not perfectly straight, but I like straight lines. Okay, last 2 of the graphing ones. How do you graph y equals negative 3?
You do a straight line, then you do up the side line. Straight
What type of line? It's a horizontal line, right? Your y value is always negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, y equal, oh, I totally missed. Y equals negative 3 would be like that. Okay? So y equals is horizontal. Remember, if you flip a y over, my y anyway has the little curve on it. It's like an H. Y equals is horizontal. What about x equals 2? How do you graph that?
You do a straight line.
That one, that is vertical because your x value is always 2, right? 1, 2. So x equals 2 would look like that. A vertical line where x is always 2. Okay?